So the Ruben Amorim era for Manchester United begins tonight against Ipswich Town, and Ruben Amorim is going to be facing against a weaker opposed Ipswich Town, who currently sit on the bottom half of the Premier League at 19th position. It's going to be really easy for Ruben Amorim, maybe. At least that's what I'm hoping for. Because looking at Ruben Amorim at where his former team stands at is, well, Sporting was second in the Champions League position, and while staying on first in the Liga Portugal, which is the Portuguese league. So we all know he's a proven manager in the league where he plays at. But is he really the man that Manchester United need? Because looking at stats at how and where the league stand at the top five areas, Eric Ten Hag comes from a managerial perspective of experience because he's old. Of course, he's had a lot more to manage. He's worked under Pep Guardiola at another club as well, which is I think Bayern Munich. Um, but looking at Ruben Amorim, he's 39 years old, still pretty young. He's been a semi-pro manager at Casapia, I believe, where he used to pay, where he was, an empathetic manager. He used to pay for barbecues and a couple of rent wages or money for some of the players, and still does to this date. He's a very empathetic manager that we know and love. His main, you know, motto or his main enthusiasm is through players, and he is enthusiastic himself, and for this guy communication is key. Unlike Eric Ten Hag, this guy gives a lot of interviews. He likes to talk a lot, definitely, to the media, and he knows exactly how to tackle the media, with the likes of Jose Mourinho being one of his key inspirations in these situations. Of course, he's Portuguese as well, and as a matter of fact, I think 12 or 13 years ago, back in 2013, maybe he was at Old Trafford playing for his team back in the day, and yeah, he was starting as a midfielder back then, and this is not his first time being at Old Trafford as well. He did an internship at under Jose Mourinho when he was manager back in 2017 as a communicative and a directive, manager. So we know he's had a semi decent experience as a manager. He's played under he's his inspiration has been Jose Mourinho essentially. Um, these are some of the things about outside of the pitch or the talk about Ruben Amorim, but talking about his tactics or his mentality or how he plays inside of the pitch. We all know that he prefers a 3-4-3, which I think is going to be a short term investment for INEOS, relying on this formation. And see, Manchester United have never played in the three at the back formation or five at the back formation because it's completely foreign to them and new to them. But looking at the injuries, looking at the players that they have, it's really frustrating for them. I already posted a video on, of course, the predicted 11 for tonight's game. I'm going for Nana, of course, as goalkeeper. The back three is going to be Delict Martinez. Martinez, well, it's tough even for Delict. It's tough because Martinez did get injured and he had some lower back issues. That's why he came back from Argentina in international break. Delict did play for Netherlands in the international break. And as for left centre back area, I think it's going to be Luke Shaw, but I mean, he's coming back from injury. So we're going to have to see. Although I expect all of these three to play because getting 3 points is very crucial for Manchester United tonight. And while looking at the the middle four, because I'm going with the 3-4-3 formation instead of the 5-2-3 formation or the 5-3-2 formation. See, I'm thinking of going with the double pivot of Kobe Meno and Ugarte. As I've always said, I'm against having the double pivot midfield area because it's very demanding. It asks a lot from the midfielder covering, the frontal areas of the pitch when the team has possession and moves forward with the ball. And then tracking back is another issue, and then covering the wide areas is also another issue because um, in Amorim's system, there's going to be two wing backs, particularly the right wing back area is going to be a little more defensive, which is Mazraoui or Dalot, because we don't have a left wing back who is particularly fit, such as Tyrell Malacia or Luke Shaw. So I think Garnacho is going to be playing in the left wing back area alongside Rashford in the left wing area. We've already seen them both playing on the left wing area under Eric Ten Hag's last few games. Garnacho and Rashford were both playing in the left wing back areas and left back areas. So yeah, that's how I'm expecting them to play. And Bruno Fernandes is going to have a blast and he's going to have a good season, and so is Mason Mount. You know, Amorim has already said in an interview that he's a big fan of Mason Mount and he feels sorry about all the injuries, but he has two available spots for Mason Mount, which I believe is going to be the midfield and somewhere in the in the wider areas of the pitch, in the left wing or the right wing areas, because we've seen Mason Mount play in that position under Thomas Tuchel, under Chelsea, the Champions League winning side, the five at the back or three at the back system. So Mason Mount is definitely going to flourish under Ruben Amorim, as so is Bruno Fernandes. He's going to be in the middle areas, but he's going to be particularly playing on the right side of the pitch where he can drop those long crosses. So yeah, he's going to be very very good in that area. A lot of people have been saying about Anthony playing as well. He's been training in the right wing back area, so I've heard from a lot of my colleagues and sources as well on a lot of my social media platforms that he's been playing on the right wing back area and training there. But I don't think he's got that defensive work rate, honestly, to play in that area. So I think the right wing back area is definitely going to be covered by Dalot and Mazraoui. There's no doubt about it. And Anthony could really be sold or be loaned to another club, because as sources say he's not really happy at Manchester United, especially after Ten Hag leaving. So I don't think there's a chance for Anthony to be playing. Talking about the formation, as I said, 3-4-3 very difficult. I think it's a short-term investment. Um, I think for the first time United are going to be playing in that formation of 3-4-3. They've played in a makeshift 3-4-3 or a 5 at the back before under a couple of managers, like a few games such as under, I think it was under Ole, they played one or two games, and under Jose as well. But this 3 at the back or 5 at the back system is going to be a short term investment, as I've said, and I think again and again, because it's nothing. Of course, the Premier League needs dynamics. It needs changes. Players, managers like Pep Guardiola. Looking at them, you have a look at Pep Guardiola, who makes constant changes in their team. They need to, constantly move around the 3 at the back system, and Pep Guardiola has done that already with John Stones. Stones, Walker, Diaz, or when Laporte was there, Akanji as well, and Jesco Guardiola as well. So it keeps on changing, and it's very dynamic. But he's always been consistent and valid with the 4 at the back system. But he can change with John Stones or Rico Williams moving into the midfield. So that's how it should be in the team, and that's how Amorim should be. But Amorim for the past 4 years under Sporting has been very rigid, has not changed his management or his tactics, um, and it's just down to the fact that it's just worked for him, because firstly it's a lesser competitive league, the Liga's Sporting. He's taken Sporting to a very top level or a high level, but comparing it to the Premier League is the number one league in the world currently, and nothing even surpasses that, and it's miles ahead of any other league currently. Mainly for its physicality and its need for dynamics, and weather also playing a very crucial part in it, because the weather keeps on changing constantly, and you don't know how it's going to be changing. A lot of injuries takes place, and it's really difficult to recover from injuries during the winter period. So it's difficult. Um, Premier League being the Premier League, and the Portuguese league being the Portuguese league, it's not very competitive, and considering the spending power in the Premier League is a lot more than the Liga, Portuguese league. So I'm thinking it's going to be a little difficult for Ruben Amorim after 12 to 18 months. So I think the fans are going to be really patient with the manager, but honestly speaking, Ineos aren't going to be that patient. Even with Eric Ten Hag, the sacking for Eric Ten Hag was valid, but not exactly, because considering the amount of injuries that he had, it was a lot. And given the amount of time he was performing his xg, he wasn't underperforming or overperforming the expected xg of Manchester United, but that was less, of course. But considering the amount of injuries that they had in the left back area or the centre back areas, you have to look at the trajectory at how United were going to be placing at their league. They did win a lot of cup matches and two trophies, of course, but of course that's not justifiable. But even for Eric Ten Hag and his standards, what the fans didn't like and what Ineos didn't, maybe what they didn't like, this is just speculation, of course, is his way of speaking or his tone of speaking. He's had this very weird type of interviews, or not a very intellectual way of handling the players. A lot of people were saying that he lost the dressing room, but under Amorim you're not going to be having that, because Amorim creates an environment which is empathetic. Someone like Arne Slot, he this guy, he prioritizes. Ruben Amorim prioritizes empathy over anything, over his players, because he knows how to handle them, he knows how to talk to them, he knows what and how, or whatever type of you know environment the players need to flourish. So all I'm saying is that Ruben Amorim is going to be taking the team into a really high mark in this season, but in the next coming years or seasons as they go by, he's going to have to make a couple of changes. I'm not saying he's going to need to make changes in his formation, because he's a manager who sticks to his word, he sticks to his tactics, which is the three at the back or the five at the back, which I think he should keep, because then there's no point of keeping a manager who's specialized in the three at the back or the five at the back system. So I think keeping the formation is really good, but having versatility in the formation should be key. So in tonight's fixture, I'm hoping to keep Onana as the keeper, of course, the same two centre backs as Delict and Martinez. Um, while having the five at the back or the three at the back system, you need to have the wide centre backs a little more, runny. Like, they need to run a lot, they need to cover the areas of the pitch a lot, and they need to be good ball carriers. I think Martinez is a really good ball carrier. He's really good at dribbling. Um, Delict is more of a stomper. He can stop the ball a lot, but he's not good with the pace. So in the wider areas of the centre back area, like the left centre back or the right centre back areas, we can put Martinez, or on the left centre back we can put either Shaw or Martinez. In the centre back area, we can put someone like Delict or maybe Maguire. Maguire would be perfectly suited. He's a good stomper. He can stop the ball from dribbling past him. He's a good person like that. On the right centre back area, maybe someone like Johnny Evans. Lenny Euro still needs to learn a lot, so I'm not going to be placing him that high in the pecking order. Victor Lindelof could be good. Um, Definitely not a starter. So maybe I'm hoping for someone like a Portuguese leader like Antonio Silva. He's a good leader. He can captain the team. Someone like Edmund Tapsoba, Jonathan Tah from Bayer Leverkusen. They suited the system at Xabi Alonso, the five at the back or the three at the back system. So these two centre backs could be key. Or someone like, of course, Jean-Claire Todibo, but of course we've not seen him doing that well at West Ham. So I'm not really that keen on getting him there. But someone who I think who should be contending for that spot, or who Man United should be aiming, is left centre back Alessandro Bastoni. Really, really well achieved. He's the right profile of player that United needs. Is very versatile, the ball playing type of centre back, and is also a stomper. As I said, he's very versatile. He can play at both types of the midfield centre back role. So he's really good that way. And as I've been told, United are looking for a left wing back in 2025. Could be either January or maybe in June. The summer transfer window. Although January seems a little less unlikely if sales are not made. But there's another key young player from the Manchester United youth system who's been heavily linked to being playing for Manchester United. 16-year-old Godwill Kunkonki, if I'm getting the name right, he's a Man United graduate. He's a left-footed centre back. 16-year-old, could be playing as a left back, or maybe left wing back, or mainly he's going to be playing in the left centre back or the left wing back role for Man United. So he's new. He's a 16-year-old. He's been training with the first squad. So yeah, I mean, Ruben Amorim is definitely looking for players that he needs for his type of suitability, the centre back area and the left wing back area. So United should be prioritizing with players who've been really good with their left foot. So buying players or maybe getting players from their academy should be really key, and making players adjusting to whatever he in the areas of the pitches he needs, like Garnacho in the left wing back area. We know that Garnacho is really good with his defensive work rate, so maybe if he could work more on the defensive work rate area, he could play on the left wing back area behind Marcus Rashford. So I think that would be really beneficial and good for Manchester United. Two players on the left hand side, because for having two wing backs, you need a good defensive wing back and a good attacking wing back. Especially, like, particularly, not especially in Ruben Amorim's system, you need a good right wing back or a left wing back, vice versa, who's good at defending one particularly, or one particularly good at attacking. So that's how the balance should be made. One who's going to be good at attacking, and one who's going to be good at defending. That's how Amorim's system is based, like. But currently in United system, there aren't those many good wing backs or full backs who've gotten those many good numbers with assists and goals as Ruben Amorim Sporting. We've seen Amorim's fullbacks or wing backs making a lot of goals and assists. Wan Bissaka didn't get those many goals or assists last season, nor did Dalot or anybody else, like Shaw or anybody, because of course that's not how Ten Hag wanted them to play. There's a huge gap between the defensive line and the midfield and the frontal area, because he wanted the defenders to sit deeper into the pitch. So yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to have to adjust and make a lot of changes. So Amorim is going to have to force these full back areas into developing or creating the mindset of how Amorim actually wants them to play. And another thing about this getting Gyökeres players, like whatever he needs, I don't think it should be prioritized solely on what Amorim needs, or what the Amorim player he needs. He should be prioritizing on the profile that United needs, not what Amorim needs. And I think INEOS are going to be doing exactly what United needs and not what Amorim needs. So they're going to be really strict with the budget, as already said by many other sources, and but Amorim is going to have more empathy towards his players, and is going to be a little less crazy as Erik Ten Hag is. So that's how I feel like Amorim is going to be as a manager. Short term, he's going to be really good. I'm going to give him about 12 to 18 months to flourish. After that, there's a huge chance of him getting sacked, because, of course, INEOS don't have the patience. I've always preferred a manager, with the 4-3-3 formation and having a 3 midfield and a 4 at the back with 2 centre backs and 2 full backs. So that's my personal opinion on how Manchester United should be having their team based like. But I'd definitely like to know your thoughts, and my thoughts on tonight's game is going to be uh, a 3-0 victory for Manchester United or a 4-1 victory for Manchester United against Ipswich Town. We're going to see Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, Amad Diallo, or Garnacho in the score sheet. So yeah, that's about it. Excuse me, sorry about that. And thank you so much for watching this video, and yeah, and please do subscribe to my channel, It's football fanatic 003, football underscore fanatic 003. That's my Instagram as well. And thanks for watching. And yeah, that's about it. Yeah.